The inspiration behind this show that's called Offerings is all about the human connection. And the hands symbolize the gesture of offering, sharing, receiving, vulnerability, people coming together. The process of this work started when I cast my hands in plaster. And then I took that plaster cast and I collaborated with the 3D printing laboratory at Tulane University's architecture school. The hands were then printed and they come out very rigid and striated. And so I had to invent a process that turned that rigid surface back into the texture of hands. And then once the epoxy was done, I had to then paint those. Well, how do you paint 70 hands? I created a process in my studio, hanging chains where the hands were hanging and suspended across my entire studio, and then they were painted all at once in unison. And then those things are varnished. The work in the exhibition takes 3 or 4 different conceptual forms. In a number of the pieces where the hands are moving from a smaller to a larger center, it's a worship, it's a devotion, it's people coming together for a common idea. It could be a prophet, it could be a president, it could be patriotism, it could be a number of different things. Whatever it might be, they're all coming together. The other is where the work is moving in an outward direction, and that is all about dissemination, the dissemination of information, the dissemination of ideas, things radiating from a center and filtering out into the world. It could be a startup. It could be ideas that are generated from a classroom. It could be something that is happening in church. It could be whatever it is that it moves out into the world. There's a ripple that goes out from a common interior space. And then there is several pieces about community, about protection, where there are larger hands on the outside protecting the inside, the development. It takes a village, it takes a family, that kind of nurturing that is taking place in those specific works. And then there is an installation called In Bloom. And In Bloom, if you think about it, the exhibition is called Offerings, and flowers are nature's offerings. So within this wall installation of about 20 pieces, there are a variety of different flowers that are all created from these hands: a Japanese magnolia, a sunflower, a pink zinnia, a chocolate tuber. As flowers bloom, they're protected until they turn outward and they disseminate the pollen into the world. And so that is another aspect of this. Those are nature's offerings. By using 3D printing as the basis for my sculptural work, it allows me the latitude to create different textures and finishes that replicate ceramic, stainless steel, bronze, and other finishes that I, as an artist, want to create. Conceptually, I like to use multiples. I find an inherent power in repetition. Rows, sets, stacking, grids have all appealed to me visually. What you see in this exhibition, which is works that embrace hope, positivity, optimism, these works are all about the human connection. They symbolize so much within each person. We all have hands. And so one of the strengths of effective artwork is when the personal becomes universal. And in these, seeing yourself, seeing your hands in these works, you relate to the imagery, you relate to the pieces, and in doing so, you're able to understand more about how information and people connect and how information is transferred.